First, we are following some breaking news out of Haiti. Police say gang members killed 3 missionaries, and 2 of them were Americans. Missouri State Representative Ben Baker posted on his Facebook account last night, saying his daughter and son-in-law were attacked by gangs in the island nation. They were working there full-time under the organization Missions in Haiti. That group has also confirmed the death of their Haitian director, 20-year-old Jude Montes. Haiti has been plagued with deadly gang violence and civil unrest since February. Vania André joins us now. She is the chairperson of the Haitian Times. So, Vania, what more do we know about what happened?
The details are still coming out. We have our team in Haiti, folks in Port-au-Prince and Cap-Haïtien that are monitoring the situation. However, the only thing that we know is that this was indeed something from the gang attacks. And really, it is apparent that despite the airport opening again after being closed for months, despite talks of a deployment coming to the country, that the violence is really insurmountable and it's really at a headway where intervention really is needed to prevent and quell this type of violence.
A State Department spokesman says it stands ready to provide consular assistance. What does that mean?
I think a lot of it, when we think about what the U.S. and consular support is going to look like, it's going to be very different in the times that we've seen in the past. Joe Biden, the president, he had a press conference yesterday basically saying that Kenya will be leading and will be the face of this mission in any type of intervention in the country. However, the U.S. stands to support with operations and logistics and monetary assistance. So what that actually looks like in practice on the ground is yet to be seen, but we do know that a deployment is imminent.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Kenya announcing a security force to Haiti to try and help quell the violence. What impact do you think that could have?
To be honest, we're not sure yet. What we do know is that this is the first time in years that we've had a mission that has been led by a country from the African continent, a mission led from a group of organizations outside of the core group. And really, this will stand to be a true case study to see if the U.S. really listening to the Haitian diaspora when they say that they want a non-U.S. led intervention, whether or not this will actually help and move the needle on the violence and the instability in the country. Despite that being said, you will still hear a lot of opposition from folks in the diaspora and folks on the ground in Haiti about what that looks like. Despite it being a Kenya face to this mission, there are still some apprehensions about the role of the U.S. in this, and it brings back a lot of negative feelings based on the history that the country has had in Haiti.
What are your thoughts on what needs to be done to bring stability back to the region? And also, I mean, the airport just reopened this week. We know people desperately still need to get aid. Some people want to leave. Is this a step backward?
I would say this is a step backward, but this is a step backward that's been happening, honestly, for about 2 years. This is just now that it's really bubbling up to mainstream and Western press, but we've had iterations of this since 2018, where folks have for months not been able to leave their homes. Everyday life has been interrupted, where folks aren't able to send their kids to school, go to work, go to the bank. So this is really just the latest cycle of something that's been happening for the past several years. And then you ask, what can be helped? What will be a solution to this? Part of it is on one side is understanding that, yes, the capital and by extension, the rest of the country has been paralyzed because of these gangs, but also understanding that these gangs are made up of individual young men who are at a point of despair and frustration, and they feel like this is the only step forward. So I've had conversations with folks where they believe part of the solution is to really get an understanding of who are the folks that are on the ground. How can we refocus this energy into something positive? There are also going to be a lot of skeptics that say what we need is a really strong show of force to really be able to quell the violence. And then until that happens, there's nothing else that can move forward in Haiti. So you will hear folks that are in Haiti asking for this type of help, but then folks also in the diaspora who have the luxury to leave the country because they have a foreign passport say that this is not what's needed and really politicize a situation that doesn't need to be at the moment.
All right. Vania André, thank you.
Thank you.